Hello there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. This is a show where we make an easy, healthy, and delicious recipe out of my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook every weekday. And I'm really excited because on Mondays, we do a quick and easy breakfast. Today's no exception. I'm going to be making with you a Kimchi Tofu Scramble. And I chose this recipe particular for this week. This is Thanksgiving week after all, because I wanted to mix up the flavor profiles. I want you to have something that tastes a little different on your palate today, since most of us are going to be eating similar flavors throughout the rest of the week. So this tofu kimchi scramble is so delicious. I'm using a spicy fermented Napa cabbage kimchi that is fantastic. And if you've never made a tofu scramble, I'm telling you, this is going to be a great starting recipe for you because it's super flavorful and it's really simple. So let's get into it. First things first, there's two parts to this recipe. There's a sauce and then there's actually the scramble. Let's start with the sauce, all right? And if you have questions along the way about any of the ingredients that I'm using or any substitutions and modifications that you might want to see me make or talk about, just pop your question in the comment box and I'd love to engage with you. All right, so let's make our sauce. I'm going to begin with a little water. You can use either water or plant milk. I like to use either or, but today I'm opting in for water and I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup. I'm going to pour this right in. I'm using cold filtered water. And then to this, I'm going to add some really nice umami flavors. Let's start with the first. All right, so soy sauce. This can be an amazing addition to your tofu scramble. I'm going to use reduced sodium soy sauce today. Hi, Manisha. Hi, Linda. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here. Happy Monday. So I'm using soy sauce. I'm using reduced sodium, but let me show you two other substitutes. If you don't have soy sauce, or you are have celiac disease, or you're gluten intolerant and you don't do soy sauce, here are two great substitutes. Number one, liquid aminos. Bragg's liquid aminos. Oh, I'm showing you on the overhead and the front cam. Bragg's liquid aminos are fantastic. I love these. This is a wonderful sauce mixture. It's an all-purpose seasoning from soy protein. It's really yummy. It's very salty. It's very umami-y. It's really good. So if you've never tried Bragg's liquid aminos, it's fantastic. And it's really great for marinades and sauces and dressings and things like that. So grab yourself a bottle. You can find this on my Amazon shop if you want. You can shop around. And if you don't like liquid aminos or soy sauce, here's another third option. How about organic coconut aminos? Now, I love coconut aminos. I really try to buy organic coconut aminos. It's really kind of the only one that I've ever seen available in market, which is a good thing. This is from Trader Joe's, but you can get it at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Mother's, you name it, health food stores, and general supermarkets now. And coconut aminos is really like the coconut sap. This tends to be a little sweeter than soy sauce or the liquid aminos. It's going to have just slight sweetness to it, coming natural from the coconut aminos. There are no added sugars, but there is a little bit of sugar that's just naturally occurring, 4 grams per serving, which is 1/16 of a cup. So it's not much, but it is a little sweeter than the other two. So here, that's your choice. You can kind of use whatever you want. Hello, Natalie. Good morning. I'm glad to see you here. That's okay. You guys, we had an amazing Thanksgiving class yesterday. And if you want to purchase the live recording, we have that available. And then for all of you that had already signed up, we are sending out that recording soon. Charlton, hello. All right. But doesn't kill it off all the probiotics when you cook the kimchi? No, and we're not going to cook it too far. That's a really great question, Charlton. Thank you so much for asking. We aren't going to kill off all the probiotics. We are actually going to use it more of like a garnish than anything else. It's going to be really delicious. And don't you worry, definitely protein and probiotic rich still within the cabbage. I said protein, I meant probiotic rich. So don't worry at all. So I'm gonna keep going. Hi, TKM400. And I'm really glad to see everyone here that is on Twitch or Twitter. That's new streaming that we're doing. All right, so come back to it. Stay focused. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the soy sauce or liquid aminos or coconut aminos. Yum. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of cashew butter. Now, I'm going to grab another tablespoon so I don't double dip here. I'm using creamy salted cashew butter. This stuff is so yummy. Have you ever had cashew butter before? If you haven't, what you should know about it is it's rich and it's creamy and it's like one of the most, I would say, the absolute most flavorful of all of the nut butters. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of this. Perfect. Yummy. So yummy. All right, the next thing we need is another umami bomb. All right, we're going to use nutritional yeast because I really love nutritional yeast. I'm going to grab a little bowl for this. I love nutritional yeast. Again, it's going to give you a really kind of nice cheesy flavor that's fantastic for the kimchi tofu scramble. But it's also going to give you just kind of like a nice salty, savory quality. I'm going to use a tablespoon of this. And I think for this, I now need to hop on over to the teaspoon. There we go. So a tablespoon or 3 teaspoons. That's the equivalent. All right, and now I want a little miso paste as well. 1 teaspoon of miso paste. And this is also on my Amazon shop if you're curious. I put some of these really great healthful ingredients there so that you can find them. I also have home goods and kitchen equipment and prep and storage equipment as well. This is Cold Mountain Mellow White Miso, which I really love. This is a super umami bomb. And this will stay for a couple of months in your refrigerator. It's going to come in a container like this with a piece of paper. Generally, you want to save that paper because we want to prevent this from getting oxidized, okay, from the air. So save that piece of paper. You definitely want it on top. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of this paste. And it's, if you've never had it, it's super salty, but in a really good way. It's not over the top. It's like perfectly salty. It's the true essence of umami flavor. And this is really great. Obviously, you can make miso soup with this miso paste. You can make miso dressing. I love carrot miso dressing for any of my green salads. Yummy. You can also add this to a lot of different marinades and sauces. All right, now for color, I'm going to opt in for a little turmeric. I'm going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of this yellow turmeric here. And I'm going to measure it out because I don't want to over add turmeric. It tends to have a pretty strong flavor if you're not used to it. And we don't want to knock out the flavor profiles that we're balancing out really, really well. And the kimchi is also really strong, so we don't want to go overboard. Now, the last 2 ingredients are salt and pepper, but I'm going to start with regular salt and pepper, which I have right here. I'm going to use pepper on the grind. And then 1/4 teaspoon of regular salt. Sorry, sea salt is what I mean by regular. And I really love using sea salt right now. I'm super into it. I was always a kosher salt gal before I went plant-based. And something about using the natural sea salt is really working for me. So I'm going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then last but certainly not least, really important ingredient, I'm going to use this amazing kala namak. And this is Himalayan black salt, all right? Kala namak is really wonderful. It comes from the Himalayan mountains. And what it is it's sulfured pink salt. The important part is that it's not just any pink salt. This is sulfured salt. So when you open up the container, you're going to all of a sudden smell what kind of smells like eggs. That's because this is sulfured. And this is really going to give you that eggy flavor without you actually using any egg. So really, really important for a tofu scramble of any flavor. Tofu scrambles need the black salt. Now I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of this. Perfect. And this is also on my Amazon shop so that you can pick that up if you want. And then give this a good whisk. I'm whisking slowly because I want to make sure that kind of everything breaks down. I don't want to splash it everywhere. That turmeric can really stain your towels and your clothes, so just be really careful. And obviously the soy sauce is darks too. But the most important thing here that I want is I really want to make sure that the miso paste and the cashew butter is kind of blended, well blended. This should be nice and creamy and unified. So I'm going to take my time with it. I truly wish that you were standing right next to me in my kitchen right now because it smells like scrambled eggs and we have no eggs anywhere in sight. No eggs in sight in my kitchen. And it's a nice smell. It's like, it's really flavorful. I can also smell the soy sauce, which has just like a beautiful kind of brininess to it, that like salty, yummy essence. All right. I'm almost there. I can see it's starting to unify. This is really great done in a mason jar. I should have probably done it in a mason jar and then just shook it up until it's like emulsified or come together and nice and blended. But this is good. We got it. Just a quick reminder, if you guys are new here, let me know that you're here and watching. And where are you watching from today? Please type it into the comment box. I'd love to chat. I'd love to know. Hi, Charisse. Hi, Diane. I know Charisse is in Chi-Town, Chicago, or maybe just outside. It's good to have everyone here. This is going to be a fun week. All right, cool. Now this sauce is nice. You can see it's well blended. It kind of looks like, you know, a miso dressing or something like that, but no chunks. This is perfect. All right, so let me put this aside and let's actually talk about the scramble. This is the most important part, obviously. Well, I would say that the sauce is also important, but this is going to give you, well, the protein of the dish. So we're going to use sprouted tofu. And this is my absolute favorite. I love to buy this 2-pack. This comes from Trader Joe's. It's organic sprouted tofu. I'm going to show you on the overhead cam too, so you can see really kind of close up. And this is 15.5 for both. Each tend to be 7 to 8 ounces. Really amazing that they put it in 2 packs because we really only need 1 brick per recipe. So I'm going to cut it down the middle and it stays sealed. So I'm going to place one aside and I'm going to open one. So let me open this up and I just run my knife. We'll do an overhead cam so you can actually see how I do this. I run my knife over the block. Literally, I can see where the block is and I can see where the like plastic is. So run your knife around it. You want to drain the tofu. Kind of let it just drip out and then grab the tofu. And now there's a couple ways that you can do this. Here's my favorite. I do a quick press, but you can absolutely press this for 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to grab this bowl, place it aside. And a quick press is really simple. You just take the block, let it drain out just like I did, and then take 2 paper towels and I just like wrap it like a swaddle or a burrito, a tofu swaddle. There we go. And I just press it down. You see how I'm doing this? Kind of just like using my hands and palm to kind of press it down. And I'm making sure that I'm not going to unwrap it until the entire paper towel is wet. Now I can see this is kind of dry, but this is wet. So I really want to press out a lot of this water here. So the whole thing probably will be nice and wet by the time I unwrap it. It's okay if it kind of cracks a little bit. We're going to crumble it anyway. Okay, let that sit for a second, and then I'm going to get my tofu pan, my tofu scramble on a medium high. All right, so I'm going to do an overhead now so you can see it right in this pan. And I kind of keep want to press it a little bit while the pan gets nice and hot. I can see it's like kind of starting to crumble. All right. Gazelle, hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us from Curacao. I believe that's Brazil. I don't know. Danny, do you know? It's an island in the Caribbean. I stand corrected. Even cooler. Amazing. Welcome. In Aruba. Amazing. Near Aruba. Amazing. Okay, cool. Awesome. Amazing. I love how many different kinds of countries and cities all over the world. People are interested in plant-based cooking from all over the world and are a part of this show and our community, our Facebook group. All right, this looks fantastic. I think it's nice and dry. I can kind of tell at this point. All right, so if you wanted to, though, you could press this for 10 to 15 minutes. You would simply put a plate or something right over it. Let me show you how I would do it, like a nice big plate like this, and then something heavy. And you would let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. But we just did a quick press, so we don't need to do that. All right, and I have my saute pan on. It's working. It's nice and hot. I can see. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's perfect. All right, so now I'm going to remove the paper towel from the tofu. And what I'm going to do is add this right to the pan. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of oil. You can use coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to use a little bit. If you're whole food plant-based, you can leave that out. All right, now, fun part. I'm going to take this and we're going to turn it into scrambled, kind of like scrambled, tofu scramble, but it's going to look like scrambled eggs. So here we go. Simple. We're going to do this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just kind of like, that's it. You just like mash it up. Make sure that all the corner pieces are mashed well because that's what's really going to make it look more like scrambled eggs. My gosh, I love tofu scramble. My favorite vegan breakfast for sure, especially if I'm in a savory mood. I want something really kind of protein rich and delicious. All right, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm not gonna move it around too much. I just want it to kind of heat up and heat through. Next, I wanna get my kimchi and my scallions ready. So let's talk scallions first. I have some scallions here that were kind of dying. They were on their last leg, and I cleaned them up. And so what I did is I took off all of the slimy bits on the top, and I rinsed them really, really well, and then dried them, and I cut them down. And now I'm going to use the white part of 3 of these scallions. And the coolest part about this is when the scallions are really on their last leg, do this, and then take a wet paper towel, and they'll let them just hang out in the wet paper towel inside of a bag, just like this, in your refrigerator. I usually use the reusable bags, but I'm showing you this for right now because I didn't have a reusable bag. They're all in use for Thanksgiving, stored food for Thanksgiving. But this is how I would store the rest of my green onions and then use these for the rest of the week. Now, I'm going to just dice these scallions into kind of like thin bits. I'm going to use just the white. Well, I'm going to use the whole thing because look, we've taken off the dark green. So I'm going to use the white and the light green. And these scallions are going to be really important for this dish. It's going to really give a green color and a nice crunch too. So it adds a lot of flavor, color, and crunch. I'm going to add my scallions right to my tofu scramble. And now I can go ahead and give this a mix. I can tell that the tofu is kind of nice and heated through. How do I know? Well, first of all, I can smell it. So I'm just going to bring this up to the pan really fast, up to the camera, so you can see it gets nice and kind of like eggy. Do you see that? Kind of like browned a bit right here. That's what we're looking for. So just kind of mix this up. Go for it. And the oil helps to give this a nice kind of like, almost like eggy golden color. This looks fantastic. Now, the sauce is super salty, so we don't need to actually season as we go here. I usually tell you as soon as you add something to the pan, add a little S&P just to sort of layer on the flavor. But we don't need to do that. We just need to really make sure that this stays nice and cooked and kind of like starts to crisp up around the edges. I want you to stay with me in this cam so you can really see this with me. And look, it's starting to really look like egg whites now. You really truly can't tell a difference between this and egg whites. Okay, now at this point, we're gonna add the eggy sauce that we just made. So that eggy sauce is coming into the pan now. Hello, Suzette. I'm gonna add the eggy sauce and I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Now this is gonna add color. That turmeric is gonna make this go from egg whites to actual scrambled eggs. And we wanna cook this on a medium high, and we wanna really cook down the sauce. Make sure that everything is cooked down and it kind of evaporated. That's what we're hoping for. We don't want this to be too saucy. We don't want it to be too dry. So the sauce kind of helps it stay nice and moist and delicious. Gonna let that sit. And while this continues to cook down a little bit, let's get our kimchi ready. Kimchi is the last ingredient that we will add, and we want about a cup of kimchi or so. So I'm using this here. This is kimchi spicy fermented Napa cabbage. This is from Trader Joe's. You can absolutely make your own. This obviously has a really long shelf life, so it is good until February 23rd of next year. You're probably wondering, no way, how could it be? Well, it's fermented. So this was actually cabbage that was fermented, meaning it's added, spices are added to it, and then it is usually buried. In this case, it's probably not, in the modern world, it's not buried. It's probably just jarred, put into a jar, and then it sits out for a long time to ferment. And the natural fermentation process is fantastic. What it ends up doing is it creates an entire microorganism of probiotics within the fermentation process, within the Napa cabbage itself. So that's why this is really good for us. This has natural probiotics coming from the natural fermentation. They add a lot of spicy chilies to this one. It's really flavorful. It's fantastic. If you've never had kimchi, I highly recommend give it a try. It is really super flavorful. And it usually comes with, oh no, dear, I need my spoons. I'm gonna have to grab one down here. It usually comes with the top of the green part of the Napa cabbage as well as the white part. And you can use all bits of it. You can even use the chilies and the brine. You can use all of it. So get a nice clean spoon and use a clean spoon every single time you go diving in your kimchi jar here, because remember there's like a bunch of natural fermentation and probiotics in here. We don't want to add extra bacteria. So clean spoon every single time. Let me just check my scramble. Oh my gosh, this looks really, really yummy. I'm just going to give this a quick mix because I want to make sure I'm seeing all of that sauce kind of cook down. Yum. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take my 1 cup of kimchi. I'm going to run my chef knife over it a few times because I want small bits. Great. Okay, now that's it. I can tell this is nice and cooked. Let me show you how I know it's nice and cooked. You can see there's all the sauce has kind of been absorbed. It still looks nice and saucy, but it's not overly saucy and it's not overly dry. This is exactly what we want. Now, last but not least, it's off the heat. I've taken this off the heat, meaning the heat source is off. And I'm going to add my kimchi and just kind of fold it right in. And Charlton, you asked a great question at the beginning. Isn't this going to kill off the probiotics? We have taken it off the heat now, so really rest assured we aren't going to kill off any of the probiotics. It's still going to be probiotic rich. And I'm just going to clear my decks here. And then I will fold in this kimchi and we will serve it and taste it. Oh my gosh. I love the color of this scramble because the kimchi is like bright orange, red-ish. And then the scramble, it's fantastic. It's like yellow, golden. It just looks like the perfect scrambled eggs. Yum. Okay, to serve this dish, I might consider serving this with a piece of sprouted whole wheat sesame toast, maybe some vegan butter here. I've got some Miyoko's vegan butter, which I absolutely love. 1 piece of kimchi ran away. And it melts like regular butter. It gets soft like regular butter. This truly is just like regular butter. Come on, peeps, look at that. It browns like regular butter. I want a nice big pat of butter on my toast. I'm gonna go wall to wall or coast to coast, all the way to the edges. And I like to butter both sides of my bread. Huh? Yeah. Perfect. Yum. Great. All right. I'm going to serve up my scramble. You don't really even need anything else. This is totally well seasoned. It's ready. The scallions are within. The kimchi is super flavorful. This looks fantastic. I'm absolutely into this. This is the Kimchi Tofu Scramble, you guys, with sesame toast. This looks really yummy. Super full of protein, super full of probiotics. I'm going to definitely sink my teeth into this because I'm hungry. I didn't get breakfast yet. I did a run this morning and I am ready to eat. So before I do, I'm just going to give this tofu scramble a little gratitude. Thank you, food. We thank you, God. All right, diving in. This is a good bite. I see scallions. I see kimchi. I see, of course, the tofu scramble. Yum. Oh my goodness. This one never gets old. It is so flavorful. It is truly like an umami bomb in the best way. The best part about this dish is the cashew butter. It adds a nice creaminess that is wonderful. It's really a nice kind of like rich fattiness that pairs well and balances out the acidic kind of really fermented kimchi quality, because that kimchi can be really kind of like spicy and delicious. So paired with that creamy cashew butter, oh my God, that's so yummy. And when I make this, I always wonder, oh, it feels like it's too much sauce. So I always wonder, can I do half the sauce? And when I've done half the sauce before, it just doesn't work. So truly, you need all that sauce. I'm gonna have one more bite if you don't mind. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it. Natalie, try this one. I wonder if your little girl will enjoy this. It is a slight spiciness, not overwhelming at all. I wouldn't even call it spicy. It's like warmth a little bit. You guys, and I need a little bite of toast. I'm so glad that I introduced you to the tofu scramble, Michelle. Absolutely. They are so tasty. And it's a great egg substitute. It really is. Now that I've had so many tofu scrambles, and remember, I just went vegan not too long ago, so I'm on this journey with you. I truly thought I could never give up eggs. I truly thought that that was going to be the thing that would do me under. I was never going to be able to give it up, but sure enough, I have, and I love tofu scramble better than eggs, truly way better than eggs. So if you're on the fence about tofu or tofu scramble, try this recipe. You are going to be pleasantly surprised, and make it your own. You can totally add whatever other ingredients you might want. Maybe you might want to garnish the top with some microgreens, maybe some avocado, maybe some sesame seeds, whatever. However, make it better for your family, make it perfect for your palate, and I hope that you enjoy. And please come back for more, you guys. Tomorrow we're going to be making our lunch recipe, cranberry walnut salad sando. I love cranberry walnut salad sandwiches. Kind of like a tuna, but meets a vegan. So no tuna, absolutely no tuna in this recipe, but it's going to be super festive and delicious. We're going to use chickpeas and cranberries and celery. It's going to be yummy. And then on Wednesday of this week, we are going to finish the week on Wednesday, because I'm going to take Thursday and Friday off with you all for the holiday. But on Wednesday, I'm going to show you how to make a really easy pre-Thanksgiving dinner. I'm making a Thanksgiving pizza on Wednesday. It's going to be really super festive. And so I hope that you'll join us for this week, 3 days of amazing recipes here at Plant-Based Made Easy. If you guys have any questions along the way, please type them in the comment box. I can see comments that will remain here forever. This content is evergreen, so I really appreciate you giving it a like and sharing it with anyone that you think might enjoy this. And go hop onto Instagram, will you, and give me some love there at Chef Daniela Malfitano. I'm really glad to be here with all of you, and I'm really grateful for all that we have built and all that we are doing within this community, and it's a wonderful week to be grateful. So thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.